All right, folks, we're back with another review. Blizzard snuck out a couple extra cards. I hate doing 2 reviews in one day, but we've got some pretty intriguing Hunter cards to discuss.
Hey, buddy, watch this.
If you don't have a lot of time, you can hit the quick reviews link in the description as always to see my 5-star ratings for these cards. Otherwise, let's jump into some detailed reviews. All right, up first here we have Scarlet Webweaver for Hunter, our first of 2 pretty big beasts for the class being revealed here. 6 mana 5/5, Battlecry, reduce the cost of a random beast in your hand by 5. So a pretty big discount here that if you think about this card, it almost looks like it's a 1 mana 5/5, which might sound pretty intriguing, and I think there's some pretty positive reactions out there to this card so far, but I'm going to warn you now, I don't like this one as much as most people. I think there is a lot of awkwardness and friction in this card that are going to make it tough to use for a class like Hunter specifically, who doesn't traditionally play super well into the late game where they can set up like combos or stay alive long enough for a card like this one to make an impact. The reason I say this, a lot of people are looking at things like King Crush and all these giant beasts and discounting them and then playing them on a future turn for some really big, crazy outcomes, whether that's like combo damage for some like OTKs with Faceless Manipulator or just overloading the board with giant stuff. I think that's going to be really hard to set up because this is a random beast in your hands, and any Hunter deck worth its salt right now runs a lot of beasts, and they run beasts that range in mana costs from like 1 up to 5, 6, 7, but a lot of those 1, 2, 3 mana sort of beasts. So can you get your hand in a state where you're going to hit the thing you want, whether it's a King Crush, a Tundra Rhino, maybe just like a Savannah Highmane, so that that discount is big and meaningful and it allows you to play it immediately. Because playing a 6 mana 5/5 on its own isn't very exciting. There are better things to do, right? You've got Unleash the Beast, which has Rush. That makes you impact the board immediately. You've got Savannah Highmane, which is just a way stickier, more threatening presence. So you have to get some value return on this thing pretty quickly. If you're waiting a turn to use this 5 mana discount, you've taken a past turn that could otherwise be really powerful. So what that means is there's this magic range where certainly a 5 or less mana card is nice because you can play it immediately, but anything lower than like 3 mana, you're not too excited about the discount. So how do you line up your hand in a way where you get like a 3 or a 4 or a 5 mana minion that's perfect, that makes this worth it right away, where you get this cheap 1 mana 5/5? I don't know, it's going to be tough. I don't see Hunter building a deck that does that very reliably or very successfully. So what I see here is a card that's actually a little bit too slow. Now, I will say mana discounts in Hearthstone have historically been powerful, and people have figured out ways to work with them, so I'm not like giving up hope on this card. Maybe somebody out there could design a deck that does line it up well. They hit those magic marks. It's a fairly reliable setup, and this feels like a really good, cheap body that's also a beast, which synergizes with Hunter. Those possibilities exist. I just think they're going to be pretty difficult to achieve. So moving on, we have the Wild Bloodstinger, the cousin here, I guess, a 6 mana 6/9 beast with a battle cry that reads summon a minion from your opponent's hand and then attack it. So this is like a late game dirty rat where you get to disrupt stuff from your opponent's hand and potentially even kill it immediately to really break any potential for them to get some resource value out of that card. So really cool way to maybe disrupt combos, say for like Shudderwalk, for instance. This is a perfect answer to a 6/6 Shudderwalk. You pull it from their hand and you kill it. Now, is Shudderwalk an overwhelmingly dominant force in the meta today? No, but there could be other cards much in the vein of Shudderwalk that something like this helps you answer really nicely. The challenge for a card like this and for Dirty Rat is that you're hitting a random minion, so you don't know if you're going to get the thing you care about. You might just get some random garbage. So is there enough upside in this card to make it worth it? The cool thing about Dirty Rat is that it was a well overstated minion for its cost, and it had taunt. So even if you didn't hit what you really wanted to hit, you still got a body on board that was better than you would expect for the cost. Like a 2/6 taunt is ridiculous for 2 mana. So there was some upside bundled in with the risk. There isn't quite as much stat upside on this card, nor is there as much defensive upside because it doesn't have taunt. You know, a 6 mana 6/7 would be vanilla, so you're kind of only getting like 2 extra health. But there is that instant attack upside. So assuming you're playing a deck that has smaller stuff or a lot of battle cry minions that have value, then you can deny any kind of battle cry and perhaps be excited about it. So there is still some instant upside because of the immediate value trade opportunities that a card like this presents. There's also perhaps a little bit more risk with things like Death Rattle minions. Dirty Rat, if you pulled a Death Rattle, you wouldn't necessarily be immediately activating that Death Rattle. With the Wild Bloodstinger, you would. So pulling like a Mechanical Whelp, for instance, from your opponent's hand would feel pretty bad. Suddenly they're getting a 7/7, and all you've done is kind of activate that for them. So the question is, can Hunter as a class run a card like this? I think it's a pretty tough fit for Hunter. They don't love playing into these late game states. They're typically trying to win the game faster. This feels more like a disruptive control tool, a utility piece for a deck that needs that kind of disruption to achieve some kind of late game scenario. Hunter doesn't feel like the right fit there for me. So despite this being a huge beast, I think there are still some fit issues for this card in the class. It does some cool stuff. It's intriguing in its design, but ultimately, does it get there? I'm not sure for this one either. I think there's a slightly higher chance this card is better than our previous one, but I still see some tough challenges to overcome for it. So that wraps it up for the detailed reviews. Now let's jump into the quick reviews. Scarlet Webweaver is a 2-star card. Wild Bloodstinger is a 2-star card. All right, folks, that's it for this review. Twitch chat helped me. We recorded this one live because Blizzard surprised us with these cards. So if you hate the reviews, if you think the scores are wrong, blame Twitch chat. They were saying like 1-star card, terrible. They definitely didn't say that these were really good cards and I was underrating them. That is not what I got from Twitch chat at all. So if you want to influence my reviews in the future, come hang out on Twitch, for God's sake. It's so much fun, guys. You get to talk right to me. We talk about cards all day, all the time. So come join us. There are links in the description below for that. But also share your thoughts on these cards in the comments below. Did I underrate them? Was Twitch chat right? Was Twitch chat wrong? Let me hear your take. But until then, thanks for watching. And until next time, game on.